If you're on my email list, you'll know that I recently moved from Arizona back to Utah. We decided we need to be a little bit closer to family. And that also meant moving my succulents. Now, I had a lot of succulents. I had almost 300 succulents between my indoor shelves and my outdoor shelves. And I knew that I wasn't going to bring all of them with me, especially the outdoor stuff. None of it would survive outside in Utah. And I didn't want to have to figure out how to transport a bunch of giant plants. So I ended up gifting over 200 plants. I guess it was just under 200 plants. I ended up with 99, and all of them are on this plant shelf right here. So this is a plant stand that my husband built for me. It's beautiful. It's my favorite piece of furniture that we have, and I love having all my succulents on it. So I want to show you what I ended up with, and it feels so good to have less plants. If you've watched a number of my videos, you'll know that I am a frequent underwaterer. I tend to get overwhelmed by watering succulents, and so having about 300 plants, it took a long time to water everything, even if it was only every other week or every couple weeks. So getting down to just 100 plants has been so refreshing, and I am able to take care of them a lot better. And I just enjoy caring for them a lot more. So let me show you what I ended up with. So first off, I did keep the whole plant stand. I just picked the plants that I either liked the pots they were in, or I liked the plants, and I got rid of a bunch that needed extra attention or that I was trying to revive or save. I've decided I'm not much of a plant saver. If it's not doing well, I'm going to toss it. But more on that a different day. So you'll notice though I have this blue mat underneath the plant stand. Where we're living currently, the floors are wood, and I didn't want to risk getting water on the floor. And so even though these are on trays and there shouldn't be any water leaking, I just wanted to give it an extra buffer. So thus the yoga mat underneath the plant stand. And then starting over here, this is one of the few plants that I am trying to revive. Right now, I just put it in water last night, and I just filled the top with water. So I'm going to attempt something similar to water therapy here, just soaking the plant for 2 to 3 days with a lot of water to see if it will revive. So this is a snake plant. I actually got it at IKEA more than a year ago, and I barely watered it at all, and it has survived. You'll see over here, I have some other little babies from it. So everything on this bottom shelf it's pretty much all Haworthias and anything that can handle or prefers low light. So I have a couple, like there's a Crassula in here, Gasterias, Haworthias, Haworthiopsis. There's another little aloe over here. And then I have this piece of the dinosaur back cactus that I had at my house in Arizona. And this is just a cutting from it that I'm trying to root. And then a mangave from, again, my outdoor garden in Arizona. It has a funky mutation. I don't know if you can see that, where some of the leaves are fused together. So anyway, so this is the low light section. And overall, I feel like it's doing pretty well. And then coming up here, this used to be the propagation tray. I've gotten rid of a lot of my propagation, but I did save a couple that I love. So we have this itty bitty Crassula Tom Thumb in a little snappy pot. And then this is a Crassula, I don't even know how to say it, worm plant is its nickname. But for the most part, I didn't keep a ton of propagation. This one has been struggling because it hasn't been getting enough water with the move. Everything went for about 4 weeks without water. For a good chunk of that, it actually wasn't in very much light either. But it did cause some problems for a few plants. But for the most part, everything has done really well. So over here, it's just kind of a mismatch of things. These are newly planted. This is a pot that my friend Joe made for me. He's a member of our Succulent Lovers Club, but he was so nice to make that and send it to me. But everything overall is really looking pretty healthy, which feels good because I had a lot of things that were struggling before we moved. I got rid of a lot of those. I do have a few things that are still struggling. This is one of them, the Sedum dasyphilum minor. I love this plant, but it needs a little bit more of an organic soil than I typically give my succulents. This Fred Ives it's had a rough time for a while, but let's see up there. I'm gonna cut it off and chop it up in a little bit. But you can see all these aerial roots from not getting quite enough water for a while. There was something else. Oh, this is one that I'm actually really sad about. So this is a rainbow kalanchoe, and it did not do well with that period of not getting very much water for 4 weeks. I don't know if it will recover or not. It probably won't if I do things like that. Actually, I may just plant this cutting. You can see it has little babies growing on it. And that's probably what we'll do now that I kind of messed it up that way. These Haworthias were kind of struggling too, but they're starting to recover a little bit. You can see some new green growth in there. And some Echeverias in this Hammerly ceramics pot. These are not doing super great. Again, they just need to be cut and repotted and planted elsewhere. And then this is my 1 tray of leaf propagation. I decided to limit it to just 1 tray. That way I only have one thing that has to be watered on a weekly or every few days basis. But I'm really, really pleased overall with how everything arrived after being transported like 700 miles. It has all done really well, with the exception of a few things. And most of those few things actually weren't even super healthy to begin with. So I'm really excited to just have fewer plants and keep caring for them and keep them all healthier.